Okay, so you're thinking about buying an acoustic bass. Well, which one do you buy? I was originally going to do a comparison between these two basses, but I realize it's kind of silly now because they're both very different, and this one's really old and this one's pretty new. So this is going to be more of an acoustic bass buying guide. So I want to go through the main reasons why somebody might want to buy an acoustic bass. Starting with, you want a bass that sounds like an upright. Well, that's neither of these. If you want an upright sound, you got to get an upright. Having said that, these basses differ in which one sounds more like an upright than the other, and you can guess which one that is. Of course, is this one. And this one's actually fairly thin for an acoustic bass. I recommend if you want more of an upright sound, more of a big round acoustic sound, you get something even fatter than this. The bigger the better, of course, because the reason why an upright bass sounds boomy like that is because it's huge. So the bigger the bass you get, the bigger the acoustic sound you're going to get out of it. The smaller the acoustic chamber is, the less of an acoustic sound, less of a boomy sound you're going to get. Okay, now a similar related reason is you want an acoustic bass as an alternative to an upright. So let's say you're already an upright player and there's some gigs where you don't want to or you can't bring an upright. This is what you want. The kind of bass like this. And this is going to be a dream for you to play because they're way easier to play than uprights. And this is going to work out well for you because I find these basses sound better, sound rounder, more acoustic the harder you play, and that's going to be no problem for an upright player. If you're an electric player and you don't want to get an upright bass, and I hear you because they're huge and they're really difficult to play. So as an alternative to that, you want something, it's going to be fairly similar. Again, same advice. It's going to be harder for you to play because it's a little bit more, the neck's going to be a little fatter. The strings may be a little bit higher off the fretboard if you want to get more of the acoustic sound, and you're going to have to dig in a little bit more to get a really big round sound. Now, just to show you, I'm only going to give you one sound sample in this whole video, except I'm going to tag on to the end of this version of Straight No Chaser I do, playing both of these basses at the same time. Well, not at the same time, but, with the help of a little movie magic. Okay, so this is to give you an idea of the roundness of the sound of this bass compared to that bass. And now this one. Just so you know, both of these basses are played with the same type of cable with their EQs totally flat, which is not the way I like it. I like to roll off the top on them, but they're just totally flat. I mean, this one is a tone all the way up, and this one is just totally flat on the parametric EQ. Going to my DAW, both of them set to peak just over 18, between minus 18 and minus 15 dB. Okay, so there, I think that's the only sample you really need to hear. The open strings. The open strings give it away. The open strings on this sound really round and like an acoustic bass, whereas the open strings on this, was it just me or does it sound pretty close? If you're going to get one of these basses, get this bass. Okay, this bass sounds kind of close, but the open strings on this sound more like an electric fretless, a solid body electric fretless than an acoustic. So even though it's pretty close, this bass definitely has a rounder tone. The next category of person is the person who wants to play fretless on the couple of songs that you do a night that requires a fretless. That's this bass. You want to get this one. This is a little wider than a normal bass, but still fits into a case, and you could actually buy one of those mono double bass cases and bring 2 basses with you to the gig, no problem. Of course, this also comes with a gig bag. I mean, this is not unportable. I have a hard shell case for this. You could get a big gig bag for it if you want and bring it to the gig also. But this one is even fairly thin. As I've said, other ones can be a lot bigger. So if you want to, keep things to a minimum, then you'll want this, and then you can do something like the. And have a lot of fun at gigs with that. The next category of person is people who just want to try out a fretless for fun. Well, I'm going to put them into 2 categories. If you're just looking for a fretless bass for fun, you want to try it out, then I recommend this bass because it's super easy to play, sounds great, and this bass or these kinds of basses tend to be a little cheaper than good acoustic basses. But I think you can get cheap acoustic basses cheaper than these kinds of basses. But now the second part of this is whether or not you want to play it around a campfire. As far as playing around a campfire, I suggest you play guitar, not bass. Around the campfire, the bass just goes away and you can't really hear them that well. But if you want to compare, which one of these is going to be louder at a campfire? This one's going to be inaudible. This one's going to be slightly audible. A bigger body one would be better, but I really recommend to bass players when you go to a campfire, just play acoustic guitar. So there you go. You want something fun and campfire, this kind of bass. But if you just want something fun, this. Bring to a gig to play the couple of songs from Pink Floyd and whoever, and then this is the bass you want. Or just an electric fretless bass. And you can get those for really cheap too. These basses are just if you want to get a little bit of acoustic sound too. That's about all I have to say about that. If you are looking for more sound samples, sorry, but there's already a lot of those on YouTube, and I didn't want to make another video like that. Wanted this to be more like a conversation. So I hope it helped in deciding what kind of bass to buy. If anyone else has anything to add, please do so in the comments. This is just my point of view, and enjoy Straight No Chaser played on these 2 basses. Right.